would like to invite and welcome Reverend Dr. Matsumi Wondra. We work together. I admire her deeply. I've learned very much from Buddhism from her, as I'm sure we will today. So please welcome Sensei Wondra.
Thank you very much, Tano Sensei. I'm Mutsumi Wondra. Hi, good to see you. I really want to thank you to Tano Sensei and his every Buddhist team to invited me. I'm so excited to talk about today. A little challenge today, and the title is A Shin Interpretation of the Three R's. So 3 R's are going through, and then we will explore how the Shinran thought. I know Shinran's thought is very sophisticated, and then it's not so easy to understand, but how his teaching can connect with today's world through the Shin Buddhist interpretation, I would say new interpretation of using the 3 R's methodology: revival, renewal, and then reform. I will explain to you more detail later. And hopefully you can walk out with a fresh insight idea about Shin Buddhism, and then you can connect his teaching in a multicultural American landscape. So ready? Let's get going. Okay, so you can, after my talk, you can ask me any question or share your thought. I really appreciate it. Well, talking about the Buddhism, as you know, the Buddhism started with Shakyamuni Buddha about how many years ago? 2,500? Some people 2,600. So we call that Shakyamuni is historical Buddha because he was a human. He was born before that common era. So a lot of scholars said which year he was born and passed away. There are several difference. But again, it's overall, but 6th or 5th century before the era he was born, right? In India, the borderline India and Nepal. And then after that, all the way is a 2,600 years past. We're now 21st century, we're living together. So when the Shakyamuni was born, about 1,000 years, we call it right Dharma, because right Dharma still existed. And then, particularly when Shakyamuni was alive, any question arises, people can go back to him and say, I have a question. What is this? Tell me. The Shakyamuni teacher, I'll tell you the answer, right? Very direct teaching is teacher and disciple relationship. After Shakyamuni passed away, as you can see, the master is gone. His teaching is a little bit faint, right? It becomes a semblance Dharma. It's, the Shakyamuni's teaching exists, and some people can practice, but more difficult to get enlightened. That's the semblance Dharma. After that, we are living in last Dharma age, about 10,000 years. So this is we are right now. I'm talking about this flow. We call it the 3 ages of Dharma. Age of Dharma, right Dharma, first 1,000 years after Shakyamuni passed away, and then age of semblance of Dharma, next 1,000 years, when the Dharma is only resembled. And then we now is in the last Dharma age. We call it Mappo. It's 1,000 years, long time. The time goes by 10,000 years. And then eventually Dharma decline and the extinction of Dharma. I hope that will happen to us. Okay, this is kind of the 3 ages of Dharma. Okay, let's keep in mind we are living in last Dharma age. Shakyamuni's Buddha and Sutra and all the Buddha's teaching exist. But for me, maybe for you, to do a practice is not easy because we're busy with so many, family obligation, you have to work, right? It's very difficult to do a practice. And if you cannot practice, how do we get enlightened, right? That's the key. But however, we still have a Dharma. Thank goodness, right? All right, so let's see that. This is a little bit, I want to explain the space. Shakyamuni was born, as I said, the borderline India and Nepal, around this area, I guess, right? And then Buddhism teaching, his teaching traveled all the way from India to China and Korea and Japan. This is northern route. Southern route go into any place like Vietnam, Cambodia, Myanmar, Sri Lanka. Those are the Theravada Buddhism. The northern part is Mahayana. So we all in the Mahayana tradition. Mahayana tradition came from India, China, and going through the Korea and arriving in Japan. And over the Pacific Ocean, it came to the United States. And then now you name it. That's right, Hawaii too. Don't forget Hawaii. Hawaii, and then, the United States, North America, and Canada, and Brazil, and Europe. So Buddhist teaching is all over the world, as well as Shinran's teaching as well. Also, when we focus our country, particularly I'm living in California, and then Columbus time, 1492, and Columbus found the Caribbean island. During my lunchtime, I asked my husband, Columbus found the continent. He said, yeah, he found Caribbean island. Okay, I learned a lesson from him. So Columbus found a Caribbean island, and eventually this land as well, continent. That was 1492. At that time, you can see that picture a little bit. Now, current Hollywood, California, they look like that. So I'm talking about flow of age, many, many years. All the time in Buddhism has existed here and then spread all over in a different country, beyond space and time, right? It's just really amazing. Focusing the Jodo Shinshu, Shin Buddhism, founder Shinran Shonin, Shinran's teaching arrived in America, particularly in San Francisco, 1899. I heard arrived in Hawaii 2 years ahead of North America. So that means 1897, right? Hawaii, Honolulu. You have a Honolulu Betsuin, and we have a San Francisco used to be a Buddhist Churches America headquarters in San Francisco. Now headquarters moved to Berkeley, California. So first Shin minister arrived in San Francisco in 1899. 2 ministers is Reverend Sonoda, and another is Reverend Nishijima. Those are 2 ministers dispatched from our headquarters, Kyoto, from Japan. They came. I don't think they understood English fully, but they tried to share the Dharma English as well. At that time, is first Issei pioneer people, and then second generation were born, right? So those are the time. Yeah, the beginning of Jodo Shinshu in North America in 1899. Japanese American community invited them. Wonderful, wonderful. I really feel grateful for the JA community. If they have not invited those ministers, we don't have a Jodo Shinshu, Shinran's teaching in this country, right? And then during the Dharma school in Japanese American internment camp, you can see the right upper photo. Even they went to internment camp, they had a Dharma school. They want to learn Buddhism. They want to learn Shinran's teaching. So Dharma school teachers share the Buddha Dharma with all the Japanese American children who were born here. And then, this is the bottom one, is a photo and the temple I serve right now. And we have a dynamic Sangha, very diversified, multicultural background. You can see a lot of children, a lot of babies. That means that those people guarantee Jodo Shinshu in the future. We should have children. We should have a Dharma school we should have a babies, right? They will lead a Jodo Shinshu and Buddhism in this country. That's the next generation. And when you go out, you can see that religious pluralism, Buddhism, and then Greek Orthodox. In my neighborhood, there is one. And then also a Protestant church, beautiful glass, stained glass. I love it, beautiful. And then Catholic church, right? Those are all, every town they have it. So people, they go like how you call it, like a spiritual shopping sometimes. They go to different church and temple to see and hear the teaching and decide which teaching will fit me in the way I live. That's a wonderful experience. You can do that, right? So that we are living in a very interesting time, multicultural, right? And then also religious pluralism. So in that nutshell, I have been thinking about how can we deliver and share or make the Shinran's teaching resonate in this current world. So I came up some little bit idea. I need your feedback, but Shin modern interpretation approach in 3 R's. Okay, so R means number 1 R, revival. Revival is restore the authentic, in other words, orthodox teaching as foundation. This is foundation. Unless I do not, if I don't have a foundation in Shinran's teaching, I cannot share. I cannot really develop a modern interpretation. I should have an authentic teaching within me. Okay, so that's a revival to make sure we understand that authentic orthodox teaching. And then step 2 is renewal. Renewal is re-engage the authentic teaching in the American context. It's very important. And that means how to interpret and how to express to make the teaching resonate in contemporary society in today's world. That's renewal. We need a lot of exercise in there, right? Third one, reform. Restructure the Shinran and Shin teaching by analyzing what aspect to be focused and emphasized. In other words, repackaging effort in marketing terminology, repackage, okay? Which aspect should I show it to my Sangha or to you to make it resonate? So these are 3 R's, revival, renewal, and reform, okay? So let me give you a very interesting analogy by using 3 R's. What do you see? That's your favorite? I see a sushi. Sushi is mostly made of rice and then piece of fish on top. That's a revival. This is very original, very traditional. I love sushi, very healthy. I like uni, sea urchin. I like ikura. I like all the fish. I like it. But when there's a lot of sushi shops all over in the world, and particularly in California, there's a lot of sushi shops. And then they invented California people invented California roll, right? We call it California roll. It's in there. What's in there? That's a crab meat that's coming from ocean, Pacific Ocean. Avocado. It's California avocado. So they invented a new style of sushi, which is California rice, California sushi. So renewal is try to resonate kind of traditional sushi to a Californians, people living in California. That's a renewal. effort. And then also they package. They make it like a stack of sushi, sushi, take home. That's a reform, right? That's the example. So the key is Shinran's teaching is rice. And then you add something, crab meat, avocado, make your favorite California roll. So you will enjoy it, right? Might as well I have to make you enjoy it. Might as well I have to resonate Shinran's teaching, right? It's just to all of you. Okay. This is a California roll example. I have another example. Is these days, you know that, what is this? Matcha. Matcha. I remember when I was 5 or 6 old, my mother's mother took me to a matcha lesson. Yeah. Every Saturday, my grandma took me to a matcha lesson. And to me, is sitting there, folding my legs on tatami, it was a pain. But to me, I can have a little sweets. So I always, okay, Grandma, I will go with you. So we went there, and then we had a tea lesson. Tea is bitter, but after I drank it, I can have a little piece of sweet. That's my favorite. That's very traditional. But when you think about it, matcha is now all over. When you go to Starbucks, they have a matcha latte, right? And then matcha soft ice cream. I love it. And then pocky, that's a snack. And then also they have a matcha sweets. Everything's matcha. Matcha, that green powder is Shinran's teaching, just like a rice. And then you can make a little bit, added some value on it, and then make a product to show it to everyone, and everybody can enjoy it. Okay, this is kind of concept I'm coming from. All right, so exercise kind of a, as I said, is revival, renewal, and reform. Packaging too. We have to package to make it look better and sounds very reasonable, resonate to all everyday living, to everybody. This matcha tea, original store is on your right side. You see, Ippodo, very famous. I'm sure you can buy Ippodo tea. Maybe that's online now. When I was a child, never such thing, right? So my grandma and I sometimes went to this very traditional store in Kyoto, and we bought it matcha tea. Now, Ippodo branch has been very modernized. Look at the left side. Isn't that beautiful? Very contrast. But both the same product, they buy the same product. But the modern one, they make it more contemporary product. Okay, so this is really Ippodo. Sort of, they got stuck in the business, I would say, because just making the matcha is not good enough. So they developed their new product to show and then make other people happy in the society. They succeeded. So they expanded their store all over Japan and even overseas, right? So this is, I think it's a very interesting concept, okay? So let's go back to the first step, revival. As I said, revival restored authentic teaching as foundation. When you visit a Shinran's teaching, this is essential Shin Buddhism. It goes like this: attaining the interesting part, awakening to compassion, of Amida Buddha Tathagata through the working of primal vow. We shall walk the path of life, reciting Amida's name Nembutsu. At the end of life, we will be born in the Pure Land and attain Buddhahood, returning at once to this delusional world to guide people to awakening. Yes, I took this message from our headquarters, head temple from Kyoto. But you can see that there's a lot of technical words. What is interesting heart? What is Amrita Tarata? What is Brahma vow? What does it mean by reciting the name? What do I have to say? Be born in Pure Land? What do you mean? What's the Buddhahood? Guiding people to awakening? What can I do? Right? Those are technical words we have to really understand. We cannot communicate with other people, particularly beginners or people who are interested in the Jodo Shinshu, Shinran's teaching. We have to really explain in an easy way. Okay? This is kind of structure, Jodo Shinshu. As Shinran said, Amida, as he revealed, Amida Buddha, Buddha of immeasurable wisdom and compassion. That Amida always gave me two directions, sort of the two aspects of virtue working to me. One is me from the birth as a human in this world, and then walking, birth, and we go to school, get a job, you may marry, may not, and retire, and this is the path we are becoming, getting Buddhahood. Listening to the Dharma, we do a practice, training, and then receive interesting heart. This is the way we live in this life. And once I end my life in this world, the samsara, I enter to superior nirvana, perfect peace and realm, peace and bliss. After that, I receive eternal life. And then I'll come back to this world. I'm not going to be a ghost, but I will guide them, everybody, living in this world to the Amida Buddha's teaching. I am coming back. This is coming back is a very Shinran. Before Shinran, nobody mentioned about coming back. Returning bodhisattva, we call it. Nobody mentioned it. Even the Honen didn't mention it. But the Shinran thought about it. He went through all the Buddhist scriptures and 7 masters. He read all the books and he got an idea. I'm not gone forever. I'm coming back. I want to help other people to make sure they live a wonderful life in this life. So I come back, guide them to Amida's teaching. This is the kind of structure, going and then coming back, going and coming back. Okay. Second step is renewal. This is a re-engage the authentic teaching in the American context. How to interpret, how to express express to make the teaching resonate in today's world. So what it means is today's world, as I said, there's a lot of Buddhist schools, religious pluralism. So in our teaching, Shinran's teaching, authentic yellow part right here, is the center. How can I expand his teaching? There's a little bit borderline there. Blue area, I'm allowed to talk. Interpretation, how do we express, right? But outside of blue, that will be not a Pure Land Buddhism. So I have to be aware that borderline here. So when I go beyond, that's not going to be a Shinran's teaching. That would be a non-Pure Land Buddhism. That would be a Nara or so ancient Buddhism, right? And Tendai, Mount Hiei Buddhism, or Shingon, esoteric Buddhism, is totally different from Shinran. Soto, that's Dogen teaching, meditation, all the practices. Rinzai by Eisai, right? And Obakuzen is kind of a mix of Nembutsu and the meditation, right? And then Jishu is Ippen. So those are not a Shinran's teaching. So I have to be aware that borderline, okay, within the blue area, okay? So this is the kind of challenge. Because I tell you that Shingon esoteric, this is how they are doing. What do you say? This is sort of like a human became a Buddha as he was living. So this is mommy. That's what I heard, mommy. So Shingon esoteric is a try to attain of Buddhahood during this life, and with your own body. So sitting in meditation forever and then get enlightened. Okay, this is not the Shinran's teaching, right? So this is the borderline. I want to clear about that. Now let's go to the third one. Third step is reform, restructure the Shin teaching by analyzing what aspect to be focused and emphasized, repackaging effort. When you cut the apple, how do you cut it? There is several ways to cut, right? So which aspect do you cut? This is the Shinran's teaching, but which aspect do you show to people or share? What do you think? Which aspect is most resonate with other people in today's world? And then we can really pick up the most resonated area or emphasized points, repackage, and then share it. Okay? So we're saying that I want to show my methodology. Reform is, I want to see that Shinran's teaching is path of cultivating Buddhahood. Cultivating Buddhahood. Everybody living in this world, sharing this earth together, breathing the same air, drinking the same water, right? We are all dependently, right? Pratyaya Samtabhara is like we are dependent each other. Nobody's living by one person, right? So we are cultivating the way to becoming a Buddha. Becoming a Buddha means Buddhahood. So in this world, we are living, this Shinran's teaching is going through the path of cultivating the Buddhahood. So people say, how do we cultivate the Buddhahood? Steps of cultivating Buddhahood. This is my theory. You can create your own. Just to reference, you can listen to me. And number one, wake up the reality. Number two, know the nature of true self. Number three, cultivate the wisdom and compassion. Number four, living in Amida's deep wishes by hearing and then reciting the Nembutsu in gratitude. Number five, attain the settled mind that leads a fulfilled life. Number six, share spiritual liberation with others. Don't keep it by yourself. You have to share it with others. Those 6 steps to cultivate your Buddhahood. So briefly, I want to go through little by little. Number one, wake up to the reality. Reality is, I would say, all things in existence are brought about as a result of an infinite chain of causes and conditions. You know that. All conditioned things are endowed with 4 characters. Number one, all things are impermanent. Yes, nothing lasts forever, right? Anika. All things are dependent origination. Yes, as I said, nobody's living by one person. That's the pratya samtapada, right? All things are non-self, anatman. That's what the Shakyamuni said, right? We don't attach anything. Let it go. All things are unsatisfactory in this world. That's dukkha. We all have a dukkha. That's the way we are. Nothing's wrong. Because of dukkha, dukkha makes me hungry to hear the Buddha Dhamma. If you don't have a dukkha, you're the Buddha already, right? You'll get enlightened already. Unsatisfactory triggers you. Why? That makes me hungry to hear the Buddha Dhamma. Okay? And then also, 5 defilements. Okay, this is very, very famous. This world, Buddhism thinks defiled age. As I said, last Dharma age we're living now, in which period famines, look at that, all the typhoons, the fires all over, and then plague, still wars are going on, everything. It's not peace, right? It's not peaceful. Something's going on, defiled age. Number 2, defiled view. View is we have a wrong view sometimes, from which pervaded thinking arises. Number 3, defiled passion, which gives rise to greed, anger, and foolishness. This is 3 poisons. I do have it. Shinran has it. Everybody has it. Defiled passion. Bondo. Bondo makes you hungry to hear the Buddha Dhamma. Number 4, defiled beings who physically and mentally weak through rejecting the moral laws and then principle of cause and effect. Number 5, defiled life, through which human lifespan gradually becomes short. Well, number 5, you might some question, wait a minute, people live 100 years. So this is not right. But what I'm saying is your real life, awakened life, right? That's the length is getting shorter and shorter. All right. This is a wake up to the reality. This is kind of realize how the world is moving and how the world looks like. Number two, know your nature of true self. Know myself. It is the left side, it's very famous 6 realms. As you know, Diva, human, Ashura, the world of anger, or the animal, or the hungry, and then world of health. Those 6 realms. Our mood, our thinking, and changes from one after another, everyday life, right? And then also, 3 poisons, I said, is greed, anger, hatred, and then ignorance. But however, this is foolishness, delusion, I would say, or maybe not enlightened. Sanskrit word is klesha, it's mental affliction. So those are 2 pictures. You know which one? This one is right here. This one is a cocoon, right? A silkworm. Silkworm. You see that? Have you ever seen a silkworm? I saw it when I was elementary school. There was some, my school went to that field trip, and I saw the real cocoon. Very interesting. And then this one is mouse is going through the wheel. So what I'm saying is one of the seven master, Tanruan, Chinese master said, the human beings living in this world are characterized as a false, transmigration, and endless repetition in samsara. This is the way the human being living in this world. So that condition is just like an inchworm moving in the circle, just like a mouse is going through the wheel all day long, try to get out of the six realms, but mouse cannot get out forever, just moving around in the wheel. And then also cocoon itself, silkworm, wrapping itself by themselves, and you cannot get out. You stay in the shell. So you have to get out, see the big world, right? That's the way we are in this world. Okay, I just want to share some image and concept, what the human beings is. Okay. Well, number 3, let's cultivate the wisdom and compassion. Left side is human Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha. The right side is Amida Buddha. Amida Buddha is Amida. It comes from Mita. Means Sanskrit net, not negative. Mita is measurable or immeasurable, right? So immeasurable, Amitabha, Amitayus. That means immeasurable, light and life. And that means immeasurable wisdom and compassion. And all the spikes behind Amida is just, this is the 48 vows. The Dharmakara Bodhisattva, before becoming Amida, those 48 vows established for who? For us, for human beings. Okay. And then this picture is very interesting. Look at the hairstyle of Amida, like a punch palm or something like that. Because this Buddha practice and thinking about human being, how I can liberate all human beings, everybody. So practice time is 5 kalpas, a long, long time. So his hair is growing so long. So wisdom itself is non-discriminative wisdom. That means seeing things as they are. Easy to say, but difficult to do. And then this Buddha become also the become of the Buddha of compassion. Karuna is loving kindness, and then caring others, benefiting others. When you see Amida Buddha statue from side, it's leaning towards you, pretty much. That means the Buddha is not saying, you come to me, if you did this, I will help you. Instead, I'm on the way to you already. I know you cannot even make one step toward me. So let me come over. Amida is in moving already. Number 4, living in Amida's deep wishes and hearing the reciting the Nembutsu in gratitude. Maybe we better revisit this Amida's most important vow, which is called a primal vow. Some people already knew that, but let's review it to make sure we all in the same understanding. Is if when I attain Buddhahood, who is I? Is Dharmakara Bodhisattva. The name is before becoming Amida Buddha. So Dharmakara Bodhisattva is a student, right? So when I attain Buddhahood, sentient beings, that's me, human beings, and all the sentient, it's not only human, animals, flowers and trees and everything, fish and everything, in the land of 10 quarters, there's a universe, who sincerely and then joyfully entrust themselves to me, desire to be born in my land and call my name, which is Namo Amida Butsu, even 10 times, should not be born there, may I not attain perfect enlightenment. Excluded, however, are those who committed the 5 gravest offenses and abused the right Dharma. We're going to focus this exclusion today, but just to remember that the beginning part. So this is a name, Namo Amida Butsu, is Amida's voiceless voice that really liberates in that samsara where we are living everyday life. So that Amida's voice is echoing and coming all over universe to me, coming to you, coming to me, right? Voiceless voice, but you have to not only hear, you have to open your heart and mind and accept, right? Buddha Dharma is a constant, dynamic wake-up call. And we respond to Amida's call in gratitude, saying, Namo Amida Butsu. This is kind of a little bit interesting. The person saying Namo Amida Butsu. So, Kimyo, Muryo, Junyorai, Namo Fukashigiko is go like a, Shoshingen Nembutsu. It's a Namo and Kimyo. It's take refuge. And the Kimyo is a command from the Amida Buddha. Can you hear me? You have to listen to me. Wake up. That's what Amida is telling you. And you're receiving Namo Amida Butsu. So call my name is coming to you. And then you receive it. Hear Amida's deep wishes within you. And then appreciate it. We call it Shinjin, entrusting mind. And then your Buddha comes out from your mouth. Buddha comes out through your mouth. That means Buddha is activating. Buddha is working within you, right? So you are really making and cultivating the Buddhahood within yourself. Great body mind on the way to the Pure Land Way. Okay, this is kind of hearing, receiving, resonating. Okay. So, going through that training, attain the settled mind that really leads the fulfilled life, everyday life. You can be probably positive. Sometimes, sometimes people feel a little bit depressed, but think about it, how lucky you are, I am, how grateful I am to have encountered Amida's calling, Namo Amida Butsu. Really, really support me anywhere I go, whatever I do, even I'm not perfect. Amida never abandon me, always embracing me, never abandon me. That makes me really appreciate, feel grateful for what I received. Lastly, I would say the sheer spiritual liberation with others. So I put a little, image here. This is the ocean. And this white stuff is you, me, sort of rock as me. If you throw the rock in the ocean, it sinks immediately, right? Right? But if I put the rock on a ship, any kind of boat, it's okay. It floats. Do you? Right? This is what it is. Me, karmic condition is so heavy. I am destined to be sinking to the bottom of the ocean. But I have encountered Amida's ship. I can get on. I can be floating in the big ocean. Right? This is what it is. The Shinran wrote one of the wonderful poems. It is a great torch in a long night of ignorance. Do not sorrow that your eyes of wisdom are dark. It is a ship on the vast ocean of birth and death. Do not grieve that your obstruction of karmic evil are heavy. As I said, because of that, we all get hungry to hear the Buddha Dharma. We all get hungry to learn more about the Buddha Dharma. That really creates a synergistic effect among the Sangha members, right? When you go to the Sangha temple, you meet the Dharma friends. You resonate each other. You feel kind of lift up the feeling. And then we all inclusive. We are all included. We share the inclusive teaching. Nobody is left out. Nobody is behind. Amida's liberation comes to every one of us, regardless of your cultural background or anything, ethnical background, doesn't matter. Everybody is embraced. Inclusiveness. And we are all the same Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu followers. That's the Shinran's teaching. Saying that, this is my last PowerPoint. I would say an innovative interpretation of Shin Buddhism, Jodo Shinshu, through the approach of 3 R's. The teaching of Shin Buddhism, Jodo Shinshu, is a path of realizing Buddhahood. We cultivate wisdom and compassion by deeply hearing and reciting Amida name, Namo Amida Butsu. Through this training, our hearts and minds become settled, even as we live within the cycle of birth and death, ultimately leading to the realization of complete Buddhahood at the fulfillment of our lives. The spiritual joy we receive is not our alone. It is meant to be shared with others in harmony with Amida's boundless vow of great compassion. Thank you very much for listening to my message, and to conclude my talk, please join me in Gassho, please. We say Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you very much, Sensei. I really appreciate your perspectives. Sensei is unique. She has a background in Japanese Buddhism from the island, and she's also lived in this country for maybe 20 years. Thinks and acts and speaks as an American, and she brings a really profound perspective on the 2 different traditions and how they're both moving dynamically to make themselves more relevant. We're going to open this up for questions, but I wanted to mention that one of the taglines or our brand at Everyday Buddhism is to always be authentic, but always be contemporary. And as Sensei mentioned, it's a fine line there. We don't want to pander, but we want to be very inviting and open to new people. And we're constantly, as ministers, struggling to walk that line. So I want to thank very much for bringing up new perspectives and new strategies in doing so.